Hey, hey. It's your girl, Dr. Brandye. Welcome. It's Wednesday, y'all. Happy Wednesday. We are good. Yeah, we are good. We are here hanging out, having a good time on a Wednesday. Um, all right, we're gonna try this again. I'm gonna try to do the watch party slash share slash all the things. You know how we do. You know how we do. Let's see. So we're gonna share that publicly and we'll see what happens. Yeah. All right. How you guys doing? How's your day been? How's your week been? I know we hung out yesterday. And I told you guys I was coming back. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late, but I am back. I am here. Hey, Dr. Ferlandi, thanks for jumping on. So glad to see you. Glad you had a safe trip across the country and you are getting settled. So glad to see you. Thank you. All right. Um, it's Wednesday. It's our usual day. And tonight we got some stuff that we're going to talk about. But before we get started, just want to check in and see how you're doing. How's everything? How are you feeling? Are you handling still being, under kind of the shelter in place order? I know some places are a little less restrictive these days. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I want to check in and make sure you're still doing okay. We are still doing okay here on the West Coast, in sunny Southern California. It's been a little warmer now. Things look good outside. So, just spending a little bit of time outside, outdoors, getting out to enjoy the fresh air and the scenery, socially distanced, of course, and also with a mask on, because, yeah, I got masks, and just doing what I can to keep sane, right? Because that's the most important part. You got to keep sane. So, yeah, so here we are. And we're going to get started. Oh, Dr. Perlandi said it's been raining over there. Oh, okay. So that means it's been humid then too, if it's been raining. So I hope you guys it's not too hot with the rain, because that combination, I know, I've been there, I know. So that combination can be a little bit difficult if you haven't been in it for a while. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing good. All right, so we're going to get started. I am Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN, Amazon #1 best-selling author of my book, My Oh My, A Committed Woman's Guide to Getting the Great Sex She Deserves. And I am your pleasure coach. Yep, that's me. That's my job, to teach you how to reconnect with your passion and your excitement and your desire so that you can get your sexy back and you know how to feel good in and out of the bedroom. All right. So tonight we are continuing with our series on the pleasure principles. And as you know, we had our first pleasure principle class this past weekend on Saturday. We talked about the pleasure points and orgasms and had an awesome time talking about that. And tonight we are just continuing to talk about different topics that relate to the pleasure principles. And tonight we want to talk about how to take sex from being good to great. So, I don't know, you guys tell me, do you want to know how to take it from good to great? Hopefully you're at good. If you're not at good, let me know and we'll talk about taking it from bad to good. But tonight I want to talk about taking it from good to great. Yeah. So, also, if you're not at good, if it's at bad or, blah, jump on my schedule, drbrandyeobgyn.com. Let's have a strategy session and I'll help you to get it from bad or blah to good. And then once we get at the good stage, consistently, then we can take it from good to great. Sound good? Sound good. All right, all right, all right. So we are talking about taking sex from good to great. And what we want to do is, thank you, Dr. Ferlandy, for putting that in there, how to take sex from good to great. Because who wants bad sex? Nobody. Nobody. Although I did just read an article about something called ruined orgasms. And I was like, ruined orgasms? Really? Interesting. I don't understand, but okay. But anywho, the principle around it was that if you don't allow yourself to have the full expansive version of an orgasm, that actually plays into kind of some power dynamics and kind of like a mental dynamic that for some people can be pleasurable. Now, when I think about orgasms and I think about a ruined orgasm, I don't know about y'all, but I'll be mad. I'll be ready to fight. You can't, because one, we know about the orgasm gap, the pleasure gap, right? And that says, that data shows that for every 10 times a woman has sex, 4 times she won't have an orgasm at all. So why are we trying to ruin orgasms? It doesn't make sense to me. The people who want to do it, you go right ahead. But yeah, I'm still kind of baffled about a ruined orgasm and why you would want to do that. So that's the first thing about a ruined orgasm. The second thing about a ruined orgasm, or about, just why you would want to ruin an orgasm, it does have some place, I guess, in the BDSM community. And it has, like I said, about that power play, about controlling when and how and where and all of that. And that, to me, that's not my jam. So yeah, if I'm gonna have an orgasm, let me have it full out. Cause yeah, we gonna fight if it's not, and you really are intentionally trying to limit my orgasm. We gonna fight. Yeah. Okay. Now I got that out of my system. We can go ahead into the lesson for tonight. Okay. All right. So, what we're talking about is taking sex from good to great, and we want to do that because we talked about the benefits of great sex, right? Overall well-being is good. Yes, we want to make our overall well-being, especially during this time, these strange times that we are in. We need all the help we can get to bolster our positive outlook on life. 2, better sleep. And we talked yesterday about better sleep being a result of great sex, but also if you get better sleep, you will have better sex. Yeah. So we talked about better sleep. We had to talk about just the overall feelings of connectedness, especially with your partner, that intimacy that helps with generating a sense of connection and a sense of being a part of something. So that's always great. Decrease your blood pressure, decrease your sensation of pain. Those are all, wonderful, wonderful aspects of great sex. So those are some of the reasons why. And then it feels good. So why wouldn't you? Let's do it. All right. So the principle that we want to talk about tonight in terms of going from good sex to great sex is curiosity. Now, I know you're thinking, curiosity might have killed the cat. Why would we want curiosity in there? Well, one, the cat has 9 lives, so don't worry. But curiosity is a great way to take sex from good to great. Why? How? because curiosity brings you into the present. Now, we talked about this a little bit the other night where we were saying, okay, if you're having sex, but your mind is not there, your body's there, but your mind is not there. So you're thinking about what you need to get finished before you go to sleep, what you need to do the next day. The kids are knocking on the door, trying to, see what mommy and daddy are doing in the bedroom, those kinds of things. You're not present. And that can take away from your enjoyment of sex. So get curious and get curious about a number of different things. We talk about the five senses and creating an experience with sex, because when you create a full-on experience, that helps you to have a better overall picture and a better overall mental attitude about what's happening. So get curious about your senses. So that can mean, focusing in on your breathing pattern, focusing in on your partner's breathing pattern. Because sometimes just, listening to your partner's breathing become faster and shallower can be a turn on. And that can up the ante, up the pleasure factor. Being more in tune with what you're feeling as you're being touched or caressed. Because sometimes, we are doing other things and not focused on that. So, just really being in a place, in a space where you're like, I am just going to take these attentions, as it were, I'm going to take it in and just receive it. And sometimes we can get, especially if we are doing like mutual pleasure things, especially like 69 and stuff like that, where you are focused on giving pleasure. You may not be as focused on receiving pleasure. So, being able to be in that position of being receptive. And so you want to make sure that you are picking one of the senses and exploring that, getting curious with what it would be like to just focus with that particular sense. Even keeping your eyes open during sex, because for some people, the lights are off, their eyes are closed. It's like, we just gonna do this real fast and get it over with. Opening your eyes, looking at, your partner. Generally, it's not pitch black, so you should be able to see some things, even if it's just the outline of your partner's body. Especially if it's summertime and you guys are getting busy, just the sheen of sweat on your partner's body can sometimes be the turn on. So, just opening your eyes, something as simple as that, just getting curious at opening your eyes. So those are a few things that you can get curious about in terms of taking sex from good to great. All right, Dr. Ferlandi said, thank you, Dr. Ferlandi. She's putting the notes in here, the Cliff Notes version. Get curiosity. And she said that the breathing pattern can be a turn on. Yes, it can. Just focus. You got to focus. That can sometimes be hard to do. So you just got to focus. All right. So that's one thing, just getting curious. And curiosity can be the gateway into some things. One, just actually in terms of having sex, the actual sex act, right? But also getting curious in terms of foreplay. So talk about getting curious during sex, but what about before sex? Because you want to cultivate curiosity at other times. Why? Because that actually will help you in the bedroom. So for my guys, actually for anybody, let's just say this for anybody, because it's not really for the guys, but I find that women are a little bit better at doing this than men are. in terms of finding out specifically what you like, what you don't like, what your turn-ons are and things like that. And not necessarily like sexual stuff, but just in general. Women will ask a lot of questions and want to dig deeper and things like that, versus guys may or may not do as much of that. And so getting curious outside of the bedroom, just to learn more about who your partner is, what floats their boat, just in general, what things get them excited, what things help them to relax, things like that. Those are great questions to ask to get into somebody's head a little bit and learn a little bit more about them. And then, like I said, getting curious with foreplay. Now, when I say getting curious with foreplay, what I mean is, not just the mwah, doo-doo, and then we jumping into sex. I'm talking about doing more than that. Hey, Dr. Omarine, so glad you could join tonight. Thank you for coming on. We're just talking about how to take sex from good to great, and talking about our pleasure principle of curiosity tonight. And so right now you jumped in while we were talking about curiosity during foreplay. And so curiosity during foreplay is just an extended exploration, and it can be an extended exploration of your partner's body, a particular body part or their whole body. Like I said, a lot of times we have kind of this abbreviated, okay, I know this works, and this works, so we're going to do this, and this, and then we're going to jump into sex. And that's okay, but one, that can get a little boring. It can get a little boring. But two, you miss out on so many other potential places for pleasure, because your whole body, literally your whole body, is made for pleasure. Let's just say that. Like, your skin is your biggest organ overall. Your brain is your biggest sex organ, but your skin is your biggest organ overall, and it is very sensitive. It has lots of nerve endings, and depending on where you touch, those places can be great places for stimulation. So get curious during foreplay. Don't just go with your regular stuff. Get your other areas touched too, not just the reproductive organs, not just the genitals. So there are so many other places that can be touched and stimulated that can create arousal and desire. So you got to explore those places. Hey, Tamika, thanks for jumping on. So glad you're here. So yeah, so those are some of the things that we are talking about tonight. Tamika, we are talking about taking sex from good to great. And we are talking about one of the pleasure principles of curiosity, and how we can use that to our advantage to take sex from good to great. Hey, Charles, thanks for jumping on. Good to see you again. So, so getting curious during foreplay, not just sticking to your usual point here, point there, and then we jump right into, the sex act. Just getting, using that time to get to know, your partner's body, get to explore and experience, you can explore and experience different sensations. And, I'm a big fan of using different props, and things to help. So, I always have my handy dandy feather dusters. And those are great in terms of just a light touch, like so. You can also, especially during the summertime, because of this metal head there, you can actually put these in the refrigerator or the freezer, and then you can use some temperature differentials. So use this as the cold. You can have, a warming massage oil or a warming lubricant to use. But I'll say, caution with anything that causes warming or tingling, especially if you are putting it on very sensitive tissues, specifically for the women, any application to the vaginal tissues or the vulvar tissues, because if you put too much, you will have a burning vagina. We don't want our vajayjays on fire. So be careful. Be careful. A little bit goes a long way. But yeah, you want to try those temperature differentials. Stuff that's cold, stuff that's warm. Those are great. We talked about, during sex and actually, using our different senses, getting curious with our different senses. And I said, maybe instead of having your eyes closed, open your eyes during sex and see, what you notice and how that can amplify your pleasure. Hey, Leo, so glad you are here. Welcome back. But the other prop that you can use is a blindfold. Now, how does that help? Well, blindfolds actually, because they are restricting your vision, they heighten the capabilities of your other senses. So you are more likely to hear different things that you wouldn't necessarily focus on if you were looking with your eyes. The sensation of touch, if something is touching your skin, it actually, those sensations will be amplified, because if you lose or if you take away one of the senses, then your other senses become amplified so that they can compensate for that, right? So those are some of the reasons why using your senses and, deciding to focus on one versus the other can actually take sex from good to great, right? All right. Am I giving you guys good stuff? If I'm giving you guys good stuff, type in the chat, yes, this is good. Tell me more. Give me some hearts, give me some love, show me some love, something. I'm so glad everybody's here. I'm having a great time. I love Wednesday nights. These are my favorites. And then, I jump on periodically throughout the week. But Wednesday nights, I know I'm coming on and I'm having a great time with you guys. So thank you. Thank you for joining. All right. So we're talking about taking sex from good to great. And we're talking about the pleasure principle of curiosity. We talked about it during sex. We talked about it during foreplay. All right. Another time where getting curious can be very, very helpful is during oral sex. And I am speaking specifically to my women out there who are not fans of giving oral sex. And also for the guys who are not fans of giving oral sex. All right, so what I want to do is break it down just a little bit. So I know there are so many different ideas, thoughts, and all of that, myths around giving oral sex, either, fellatio, giving fellatio, or receiving cunnilingus or giving cunnilingus. Those are the technical terms for giving head, going down, things like that. Yep. Okay. So we're all on the same page about what it is that we're talking about. But I would like you to consider getting curious about giving oral sex. Now, how is this going to help? Well, I think one of the concerns or the issues around giving oral sex is just the thought of, I don't even know what's going on down there, right? Like, I don't even know. There's stuff, it's in my face. I can't. There can be kind of that vibe about it. So get curious. And when I say get curious, I don't necessarily mean that you have to do the act. So you don't have to, give a blowjob. You don't have to give head. You don't have to do any of that. When I say get curious, it could be something as simple as bathing together or showering together with your partner. And as you are both, in the shower, you can decide to clean your partner's reproductive part, his genital part, his penis, or for a guy doing it for his partner, his woman, cleaning her vulva and vaginal area. and really taking the time to appreciate the shapes, appreciate the textures, appreciate just everything that's there. Because, you know, this is not something that is bad. God didn't make it to be bad. So just getting familiar with the anatomy, I think, is really, really helpful. And that's kind of the first step to being better at giving oral sex. So just getting familiar. So, you don't have to jump from 0 to penis in your mouth or vagina in your mouth. Just get curious and see what's there and begin to appreciate what's there. So, those are the things that I wanted to talk about tonight. I hope that's been interesting for you guys. It was fun for me. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if you are someone who is wanting to take your sex life from good to great, or if you're on this end of the spectrum where it's bad or ugh or mediocre and you want to just get it to good and then get it to great, jump on my schedule, jump on my calendar. Go to drbrandyeobgyn.com and get your free strategy session. I have opened up some time on Thursday, tomorrow, and on Friday. So I have more spots open. So if you want to get one of those spots, go to drbrandyeobgyn.com right now so that you can get your spot and we can take you from good to great. Because the pleasure principles, they work. They work. They will get you to where you need to be, my friend. Let me tell you, the pleasure principles work. And I'm so happy that I get to share them with you all. So thank you, Dr. Ferlandy, for jumping on and being my great Cliff Notes version in the comments. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and for inviting people too. Thank you, Tamika. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Charles, for jumping on. So glad you're here. Dr. Omarine, thank you so much for jumping on as well. Gonna jump on off. And I am Dr. Brandye, your board certified OBGYN, Amazon #1 best-selling author, and your pleasure coach. So I will see you guys later this week. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'll see you soon. Okay? Bye.